Hiya and welcome to today's video. Today I will be reviewing Hogwarts Mystery a month after it's been released so that I've had a proper chance to play it and properly explore it. First impressions. I was very excited for the game. It's all I talked about the week leading up to it, I guess. And it was the first thing I checked when I woke up, but it wasn't there yet. However, it did show up within the next hour. So I immediately downloaded it and played as much as I could before I had to leave. The opening sequence is really nice. It is both well animated and just a nice start to the story, and I really do like it. Meeting Rowan is very exciting because it's the first experience with the Wizarding World you have in the game, and you just kind of already have a friend just from going to Diagon Alley who introduces you to the Wizarding World so well. And then also meeting Gary Ollivander is pretty awesome because we already know him from Harry Potter. And it's just so cool to see all these characters that we know and love in a game where we get to interact with them. I think this start was probably the most perfect beginning I could imagine for this game. And I don't think there's anything I would change because you get to go to Diagon Alley, meet a few people already before you go to Hogwarts, and you're kind of just ready for the adventure that is Hogwarts. Character customization. I think that there is enough. There could be a little more. I don't think they'll introduce more with more updates. They might do. But I'm pretty happy with what's available. I want to wear the Hogwarts robes all the time anyway. And my character looks quite a lot like me, I'd say. I will say this, there's no hair that's long enough for mine. But I'm not complaining because they have glasses quite similar to these. The glasses are pretty dark, so maybe these are the better option. And I only bought these like, I don't know, halfway through year 2 or 3 because I just forgot about them. I saw them at the start and then I was like, yeah, I've got to buy them later, and I just forgot. The characters. I love meeting all of the characters. Tonks has been especially great, everything I could have ever wanted from Tonks. All of the new characters are also great. Rowan is great, like such a nice, just friendly character who I think I sometimes relate to more than my own character. And then there's Penny, who's just the, like, popular kid of the school, I guess, who knows everything, and you get to find out a lot, and also is good at potions. And then you have Ben, who's just a bit clumsy and scared of everything, but he's also pretty good at charms. And I was not expecting to be so attached to these characters, but when Penny opens up in year 3, it's really, like, emotional. The plot of the game. I might be delving a little into spoiler territory up to about halfway through year 3, about chapter 5, that's where I am right now. So if you don't want to hear game spoilers up until that point, just don't watch the rest of the video, I guess. It really feels like part of the Harry Potter story, like completely. And that's just so amazing that the game developers managed to do something like that. Like, yes, they are working with Warner Brothers Entertainment Industries, but it's mostly Jam City and Portkey Games, and it's amazing that they've actually managed to do that. I love how all the information is being trickled to us, like you find out that you have a brother still in Diagon Alley who is like mad and missing, and then you find out that there's Cursed Vault, and you have to go and unlock that one, and then you find out that there's 4 more Cursed Vaults, and so on, and it's just really well done, and it keeps you really engaged. Features of the game. I really love casting spells. Because you get to see their shapes. I think there used to be something like that on Pottermore, and there's images floating around all over the internet of the spells. But here they're actually really integrated, and you actually remember them. I especially love Engorgio and Reducio, which are just the greater than and less than signs. But my favourite feature of the game is the trivia questions. I don't think I've gotten one wrong yet, but there have been some challenging ones. Like when Penny was brewing a potion, and you had to figure out which potion she's brewing from the ingredients. And I knew that was forgetfulness potion. There was something stuck in the back of my brain that said forgetfulness potion. But it was really hard. Layout of the game. I love the layout. I don't know how accurate it is to the books or the movies, but you get to see which classrooms is on which floor, and everything at Hogwarts where it is. And I just love that. I feel like I really know Hogwarts so much better because of that. And I'm really happy that they included that. Now there will just be some thoughts on everything. I don't think they have a category, maybe apart from Other thoughts. My Hogwarts Mystery wand is quite different to my Pottermore wand. It's Hornbeam, Dragonheart string, 11 inches inflexible. Whereas my Pottermore wand, if I remember correctly, is Chestnut, 10 3/4 inches, Phoenix Feather Core, and Supple. But to be fair, there's no way of connecting that. And the wand isn't the most important part of your Hogwarts experience. It is quite important, but not the most important thing. The most important thing might be the house for some people, which it was for me, Ravenclaw. But I feel like there could have been some element of a sorting quiz, because if you really want to be in a house, you know which answers go with which house anyway. And if you're just playing the game because it showed up on your Play Store, then you might not know what house you want to be in, and then it could get sorted. But I think they did a really good job of just saying which house would you like to be in and putting you in that one, so that nobody is disappointed. The Ravenclaw common room is magnificent. I love it so much. It's based on the Pottermore one, I think from the old Pottermore, if I remember correctly. And I just love it so much. It's really, really beautiful. I also love Chester Davies being our prefect, because I think maybe his younger brother or cousin or something, Roger Davies, is also a Ravenclaw, and Fleur took Roger to the Yorgle. Marula is a great antagonist. The more you play, the more you kind of understand her, and it just works really well. Andre is just fabulous. Andre's great. He's been lurking around, so kind of making sarcastic comments at lessons and also on the title screen. I've just been wondering, who is that guy? And you finally get to actually talk to him in year 3. And he gives you an item of clothing that you want. He gave me this purple Hogwarts scarf, so I wanted a scarf. He also wears his scarf all the time, the Pride of Portree scarf, and his like Quidditch and enthusiasm almost rivals like Ron's for Chudley Cannons, and that's pretty amazing. He also kind of, I think your character says something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, you're like the best Quidditch player in the school, aren't you?" And he's like, "Maybe only second best to Charlie Weasley," which is just brilliant. And the Peeves animation in the corridor is really, really cool. Like, you can instantly tell it's Peeves. Great hall, it just looks stunning. You scroll through the hall and it looks really, really amazing. It's like simplified because it's a game, so there's not as many fancy decorations, but it still looks exactly like the Great Hall we all know and love. I love how dueling is just a slightly fancier version of rock, paper, scissors. That is really, really cool, because you have to like choose whether it's aggressive, defensive, or sneaky, and then you like choose an extra part based on what like traits you have already. I also really like how the House Cup points are displayed at the end of each school year. That's a really cool little thing that I've been screenshotting. I also love this animation where like your character is just really happy after doing something, where they go like this. And it just kind of reminds me a bit of like Doctor Strange Magic, where he just kind of goes like that. And it's just a really cool animation that I really like. I also like how they give you 100 diamonds for being part of the launch. That's like a really cool little thing that they did. Maybe there'll be more for like September 1st. If you play 3 hours on September 1st or something like that, they'll give you some diamonds or some other special events, and I really like that. I like how at some point in year 2 you just get covered with like bits of ice all over you because you've been in the cursed vault, the ice one. And that's just really cool little detail that they add. Also, getting to name Fang was pretty cool because, yeah, it shows that the developers have some sense of humour, because the options were Fang, Voldemort, and Hagrid Jr. I also found it quite nice how they foreshadow that Bill will become a curse breaker with this line. Also, the anti-foreshadowing, I guess, of everyone saying, "Oh, I hope that all your siblings, Mr. Weasley, are calmer than you are." And during one of the conversations in the Great Hall with Bill, there's some funny answers, like Dumbledore has already had a boy, and mere people feed off bad feelings, and that was just quite funny. Also, Chapter 9 of Year 2 is called Wizards Unite, and I don't know whether that's meant to be like a little nudge to the new game that's also will be coming out this year, or whether it's just coincidental. Probably not. But I really like that, and I'm really excited for that game. It's the one that I was more excited about before this one was released. right now I'm just playing this one all the time, so I'm like excited about it. But once Wizards Unite comes out, I'll just be playing them too constantly. And also the graphics on the Wizards Unite chapter is pretty cool. I like the little Hogwarts drawing. Dumbledore's office is also simplified like the Great Hall, but it still looks exactly like what it's meant to look like, and that's really amazing that they've managed to do that. Speaking of Dumbledore, I also like how he says, I have to address the elephant in the room rather than the elephant, but I just found that really, really funny. I love libraries. So when you unlock the Hogwarts library in year 3, I think, it's just so cool, because the library looks like everything I could have ever wanted, and we don't see enough of it in the movies. I just really like it. Hogsmeade is just magnificent, and I could go on for hours about how great it looks, but I won't. I will say that I do like the mention of Celestina Warbeck from Madame Rosmerta, because I think J.K. Rowling said that it's her favourite off-page character or off-screen character, something along those lines. A character that she knows a lot about, but we don't really see in the actual canon. Now for some flaws, because no game is perfect, and this one, while being pretty close to, has its flaws. There have been quite a few glitches so far. I think maybe the new updates fix them, but here is a compilation of the ones that I've seen. The glasses that I bought tend to stay on the character, but my Ravenclaw scarf doesn't really, and that's a little bit annoying, but I can deal with it because it doesn't matter too much. I would have wanted a little more freedom to explore Hogwarts. Like, we do get to like go to places and you don't have quests there, but there's not much you can do apart from stand there. The lessons also get a bit repetitive, where you have to do so many lessons to unlock a new lesson, but all of those lessons are pretty repetitive, where like for charms you go and demonstrate, or for potions you gather ingredients. And maybe a way around that would be to include a new like part like that every year. Maybe this is the issue with any story, but the characters can quite easily be linked back to the original Harry Potter characters, like you being Harry, Rowan being Hermione, Penny being Ron, Ben being Neville, Marilla being Draco, and Esmeralda and Barnaby being Crabbe and Goyle, and all the characters seem kind of almost recycled. As I said, maybe that's the issue with any story. Maybe any story you look through has that issue, but I've just been playing it a lot and kind of been thinking, that's a bit like what Neville would do for Ben or something like that. But it's not too bad, because the characters have really been taking time to be developed, like any opening up, and that's like quite a lot to open up about, and I couldn't see Ron doing that, so they are different enough. Also, the 3 traits that you keep collecting, I think it's courage, empathy, and knowledge. Those seem very Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw, and not a 4th trait for Slytherin. I know that 3 traits is kind of easier to control, but it does seem a bit like anti-Slytherin. I also don't know whether they're trying to go for Hogwarts from the books or the movies, because the tie is silver like in the movies, but then the scarf is blue and like this bronzish orange colour, which is the books. So that's a little thing. I think they're going mostly for movies, but yeah, I really do love this game. It's what I've been doing in all of my spare time, and I'm excited to see the rest of the story, find out about the rest of the Cursed Vault, maybe even meet my brother Jacob. Probably everyone's brother Jacob, really. And I also wonder if there's like a part of the story after year 7, or if it just kind of ends. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Bye! Also, just a little side note. This is designed for English speakers, because the whole game is in English. But I just found this funny, how my brother is Jacob, and then the female version of my Polish surname, rather than the male one. Obviously, they don't probably know, and it is designed for English speakers. It's just a little chuckle. Whereas my Pottermore wand, if I believe correctly, it is